Hey guys, it's Shadow, and today we are going to be playing The Sims 4. Now, I've never done, well, I have attempted to do Sims 4 on my channel before, but I thought I would kind of mix it up and do a house build. Now, I have done a Sims 3 house build recently. I did the Family Guy household, and I just kind of wanted to experiment with that. So, I also have this, The Sims 4, and I see Flabaliki doing stuff like this on his channel all the time, but these little compact builds, now this one is a 5x5 compact build, which means that the base house itself is 5 squares by 5 squares, and I layered that by 2. Now I was using these little tables to kind of have like a flat roof area right here up on the little ledge, and that I don't know, it's a little thing that I see Flabaliki or the Sim Supply do all the time. So I am sorry, my cat is literally scratching at my door. It's so annoying whenever she does that. But anyway, literally I lost my train of thought. That's just purely amazing. But I kind of wanted to just make sure, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Really, I lost my train of thought so bad. But anyway, I started out by doing, obviously, the base building, and then I started doing the extremities. So, like the porches, any balconies, and all that kind of stuff. Now, there is a little area that I make off to the side where it kind of overhangs. It's almost kind of like a little indoor outside area. It's where the staircase to the upstairs bedroom is. But, yeah, I mean, even though it is technically more than 5 squares, or 5 by 5, I don't really count that room as a room because of the fact that it's more outdoor stuff, just indoors. It's almost like a little greenhouse area, so that's why I don't count it as that. Now, I did this little wraparound porch, which I kind of really like. It turned out a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Honestly, my expectations for this weren't very high. But once I was finished with it, I was like, you know what? That's pretty cool. So I was just trying to get a paneling on the actual house that kind of tickled my fancy. Whatever looked good to me. And I was trying to get it to match up decently well with the little side, like the siding of the, what do you call that? The like little paneling at the bottom of the house. I was trying to get it to match up pretty good, and I kind of like how that stone looks. So I also did this little side area where it's like you can walk through it, and I ended up putting windows on it just so it looked a little bit nicer. But yeah, and one of the challenges I really had with this house was literally not just the inside, but the outside as well gave me a lot of trouble because I wanted the roof to kind of fit perfectly here in the front and look natural. So I wanted it to kind of wrap around and like line up perfectly with the side of the roof. So that was a challenge, but I ended up getting it down and it worked fine. So I have a bigger balcony on the back of the house and a side balcony on the side, obviously. And then I have one on the, well, obviously there is one on the front on the first floor and one on the back on the first floor. And I actually put those windows there just because I thought it added just a little bit more detail to it. And it wasn't just like you were walking through a hallway. But yeah, a lot of stuff that I place, I ended up moving around as I was placing the furnishings on the inside of the house. Mainly just because things were changing as I was going, and it all ended up looking very good in the end. And that is one of my main things. I wanted it to all kind of merge together and look just very good. So yeah, I don't know. There was quite a few things that I went through, and I couldn't decide on what roofing to use for this either. I don't even think. Actually, I ended up sticking with that kind of metal roofing, as you see. At least I think I do. I'm not entirely sure, yeah, but I'm pretty sure I stick with that one. Stuck with that one. There you go. That's better English. Now I did probably overused these little railings right here. Mainly because I wanted everything to match up, so it would all look kind of uniform together. Now, I kind of wish I would have went back and changed a couple of them to make them look a little bit better. But either way, it ended up looking good in the end, so I'm still proud of myself. Now, in total time, I took about 2 hours and 30 minutes to do this whole build. Now, there are a lot of stops in this video because of the fact that I was looking up like stuff like the move objects cheat. I think I turned on like a show debug objects thing because I wanted to find the debug windows, or not windows, but I wanted to find the debug lighting. Now, if you don't know about that, it's really bright lighting that you can put on the ceiling. It's visible in the build and buy mode, but I believe whenever you go into the live mode, you can no longer see the light. So you're getting light from almost nowhere. So if you don't really like the fact that the lights kind of show while you're playing the game and they're just sometimes annoying because they'll get in the way of what you're looking at, then that is a way to solve it. Now, would I suggest it? No, I ended up taking them out of this build because of the fact that they were way too bright. So that's just a little tip if you haven't already figured it out. So I did end up putting, I think I ended up putting a restroom on the second floor. There is no restroom on the first floor. So the first floor is living room, dining room, and kitchen all merged together. The side of the house, which I will be adding on probably pretty soon. Yep, right here I start work on it. This little side area, I ended up putting a, I believe a stove, a little eating area outside as well. Or I say outside, but it's like indoors. But there's a little table out there to eat in, the staircase, and I believe that was it. I think just a couple more decorations. But it does look pretty good. Sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. I'm pretty darn tired. It is 12:51 for me right now, where I live. Now, as soon as I'm done with this video, I will be heading right to sleep. But yeah, I don't know. I like it. I think I ended up taking away a lot of these windows whenever I started adding more stuff in. But I do kind of like the idea of it. I was going to do originally kind of a greenhouse look for the area, but it wasn't able to work out quite like that. So it's not that bad. But I like how the staircase actually kind of wraps around in this room and then goes upstairs. It is kind of a neat little look, and I still kind of gave it that little greenhouse look with the tinted windows like this. I believe I just left it on blue and then extended the porch over to it. But there's also a door that matches perfectly with it, and I believe that comes with the Get to Work DLC. If I am wrong, please leave it in the comments. I would like to know if I'm wrong about that kind of stuff. But anyway, I don't know. I'm really impressed with myself on this house. If there's any other sizes like 3x3, 4x4, 6x6, if there's any kind of Sims builds that you would like to see, even if it's not a compact house, if it's just any kind of Sims build, please leave it in the comments. It helps me out a lot with trying to figure out content for myself. And honestly, you guys get to see what you guys like, not just what I like and what I can do. But I like to challenge myself, so if you guys have any kind of suggestions or challenges for me to build in the game, please leave them in the comments. I would love to see them, honestly. Your ideas are probably a lot better than mine. I mean, just honestly. But I ended up I think I started work on the decorations, the floorage outside of the house right here. Now, I wanted to originally use quite a few of these bushes, but I didn't even end up being able to use any of them because they just don't work very well when you're using move objects because they don't fit together properly. So I ended up using a lot of these kind of little smaller bushes and rose bushes and whatnot just because, I don't know, I think it adds a lot more diverse area for the floorage, which that is really kind of what I want. So I don't know, it's just kind of a cool idea. Dang, this video is going to take a while. I didn't think it was going to take all that long. It's like 26 minutes long for me. For you guys, it'll have more images and stuff on the end, so it'll be longer. But we're only 10 minutes into this. Holy crap. Anyway, so I just kept decorating. Honestly, the only reason I spent a lot of time on this is because I had a lot of stuff going on today. So I had to keep coming and going. And then there was a lot of things that I took maybe too long on deciding stuff. Like the decorating on the inside, I spent a lot of time doing that. Even though it seemed like I was working outside on the outside of the house longer than it really was, a lot of the time was spent inside. So let's see. If you guys want to skip to the inside of the building in the house, then it should be about maybe 14 minutes or so. That's just kind of a guesstimate because I can't really skip in the video currently. But yeah, I don't know. Let's see. I'm trying to look through the videos I already have to see where it starts at. That is upstairs, I believe. No, that's not upstairs. Yeah, let's see. It should be probably, yeah, probably about like either 12 or 14 minutes. Maybe I'll add like a little annotation on the screen right about now to skip to it, if I can remember to do that. Hopefully I'll remember. But if not, it should be about 12 or 14 minutes. Obviously, you guys can find it easier than I can currently. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I'm spending so much time telling this guy to you guys. I'm just super tired, and my blood sugar level is probably pretty low, honestly. I haven't had much to eat today, and I haven't had very much sugar either. I don't really know how that works. I just know it probably is a factor. It runs in my family. So anyway, moving on. Now I started kind of like I wanted obviously some kind of flooring for the porches, because it wouldn't make any sense to just kind of leave it the way it was. So I ended up settling on a very light, I think it's a very light wood tile from, gosh, I don't even remember what pack it is. It's a stuff pack, I believe. It's like outdoors or something like that. I don't remember. But anyway, I ended up doing these kind of like tile brick little things inside the outdoor side of the house. And I think it actually turned out pretty darn cool. Now, I didn't originally want it to look like that. I wanted the bricks to kind of match up with the ones that are on the side of the stone. But you know what? I think it looks perfect, honestly. It looks neat. I mean, that's what I want. Now, here I actually started messing around with the those debug lights. What I wanted to do is kind of have one decoration chandelier or light fixture or whatever, and then use these debug lights to light it up, or light up the whole rest of the area, even if the light was dim. But the problem I had is if you place something so far up the wall that it was right next to the light, it was like glowing white. It was that bright up there. So I ended up not doing that and just kind of settling for the lighting that I could get in the game itself. Now I use these little, like very small light fixtures. They just kind of give off a glow behind the light, but they look like surround sound speakers, so that's why I was using those as kind of a little decoration, if you will. I really like how it looks. If you have a TV setup that is like decently good inside your Sims house, I would suggest using those lights if you have access to them. I believe they come in a DLC though, so I don't know if it's an option for everybody. But they look pretty good, and I really like how it turned out on that. Even though, like, what you see currently is not the final look for it, I do change it around quite a good bit. But see, I ended up taking those away, and I used this little light fixture right here. And I think I ended up taking those lights away as well. I was just trying to give some more light. But what I did is I ended up starting to mess around with these cabinets, like. They're normally for a kitchen, and I ended up using them in this house as just normal, like, they look like they're meant to be there. They look like they're TV cabinets, so I kind of did that. I placed that into the whole build, so I like how that turned out, honestly. I placed cabinets on the bottom, and then I placed some up on the top as well. Now they are identical on both the top and bottom, but I just like how it goes together like smoothly, very smoothly. And that's the main thing that I like about it, is that it looks natural. It looks like something that would really be made. Now, I believe I ended up placing these little light fixtures, 2 on each side, to make it look like maybe like a 4.0 or 4.1 surround sound setup. And that's kind of the look I was going for. So I believe I hit like spot on with that. So now I did end up placing one of those little, like, I believe it's like a picture light. I placed it up above the TV. It either looks like a sound bar or it looks like a what was I going for? It either looks like a sound bar or like a speaker or something like that. I don't really know what I could describe that as, but it does look pretty good, so that is kind of what I was going for. So anyway, I ended up moving a lot of the doors and windows around before I was done, just to make them look better from the inside out. Now, they still look good from the outside, and that was one of the main points that I had. But from the inside, just with it being compact, it wasn't working out properly. Now, I'm trying to think of where to go with this conversation. It's like I'm talking to you guys, and I don't know what to say. Now, I wanted to light up the garden a little bit, but I couldn't find any very good lighting fixtures for it. So I ended up using these little like garden lights. I presume they're garden lights, but they're pretty much meant to be used this way. So I just kind of put them as close as I could without using move objects, and I think they turned out pretty good. Now, I wanted some more color in the house, so I threw in these kind of bluish cabinets. Now, I went through a long period of trying to figure out what fridge would look best in here. And I think I ended up settling on just that black fridge. I don't remember if I changed that or not. No, I don't think I did. I think I just kind of moved it. But I kept using these blue cabinets because they add a little bit of color, not too much. They're kind of like a almost sad bluish color, if you would imagine that's what it would sound like. Now, wait, sound like, really? Did I just say that? Now, I think I ended up using this little two-way window. The reason I did that is because from the outside you cannot physically see in, but from the inside you can see out. So say if someone's out there cooking or doing whatever, like there's kids out there playing, you can still keep an eye on them or whoever's out there, and you, like, I don't know, I just like the idea of that. That's kind of cool. I've never seen anybody incorporate a two-way mirror or window into a house build so far. Now, that is kind of cool, feeling like you're the first to do something. I'm sure I'm not the only one out there that has done it, though, so I'm just gonna put that out there. Now, I did use a lot of these little picture lighting sources underneath the cabinets to give it that lighting that it needs. Now, I didn't want to add another lighting source to the kitchen if it wasn't really necessary, and I didn't feel like it was, so I ended up just doing that, and I think it turned out pretty good. The lighting is decent. Now, I don't know if I wanted just decent or I wanted something spectacular, but I at least wanted it to look good, so that was my whole goal. Now, whenever you turn on debugging in the game, one thing that I've noticed is pretty much all the achievement items that you can unlock are all in the decoration tab. Now, whenever you're trying to scroll through there and find the base game items to put up as decorations, it does kind of get a little hectic with all the different crazy crap that you have from that. You have stuff such as like trophy fishes and stuff, and it's just really like, I don't need that. So, I don't know, it was just a thing that I noticed that was kind of cluttery. So I did want some kind of like coffee thing or something, so I put one on the side of the cabinet over there. I'm trying to just currently organize the video out a little bit so I can see where the ending is coming up. Now we have about 6 minutes left. So I ended up using this little like tea holder thing on the wall, and then I used these picture frames Now I found two that were pretty much alike. I didn't want them to be identical, but I placed them pretty close together and used more of those picture lights again, just to give it more lighting on the shelves itself. And I think it looks pretty cool. One tip I would use for like if I was giving off tips to people who are making houses, is if you want your house to look unique and have some very good decorations in it, if you're doing wall decorations, honestly, like grab your favorite pictures, your favorite pictures from the pictures section, and just kind of throw them together and make sure that they look good. And if you use, I believe it's Alt, and kind of drag the picture around, you can free place it. Now that does end up making some unique little looks, and I don't know, I think it's a pretty good thing to do. Like I do it more often than not in my builds, so that's just a little tip I can give you, I guess. Now another tip is whenever you're coloring walls, make sure you use some accent coloring on the walls. It is very good. Like I ended up using it on the first floor. I think I did one or two walls were tan, one wall was dark red, like a maroonish color, and the other was kind of a like navy blue color. Now, I've heard this all my life, but if you use darker colors on certain spots of the wall in the right like sections, it makes the room feel bigger. Now, my old house that I had in real life, I genuinely did have two of my walls dark blue. Now the rest of the walls were kind of half dark blue and half gray, I believe. It was almost kind of like a Dallas Cowboys color. Not that I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, but that's what I would compare it to. So just a little tip that I can throw out there. Now I ended up decorating over the last couple minutes, I ended up decorating the kind of outdoors indoor area, the little area that doesn't really count as part of the house. It's just kind of a little greenhouse area. Now I did end up placing these little love seats on the outside because I just thought it would add a little touch to like one reason why you would want to go out there and actually hang out. So I don't know, I just thought that was a little cool thing. Now these cabinets did end up poking through the ceiling up here, and I thought it would look cool if it was in front of a doorway. So you have like this little wood area to step out onto and then come back in. But since it was not, I did not end up leaving that there. And I feel like now if I would have left it, then you probably couldn't have walked on top of it. And the room is hard enough to get around in already. So yeah, just a little tip. Just to make sure those aren't sticking through the ceiling. Now the bathroom in this area was kind of strange because I could not place pictures on this wall. And I wanted to add decoration in here or some kind of mirror. But because of the door being there, it didn't work out very well. Now, I do use that little tip that I said earlier with using dark blue or darker colors on certain parts of the wall. Now, I used dark blue in this again on two of the walls, and I just didn't want to leave it all one color. So, yeah. Now, good accent colors in these kind of areas is kind of a good little tip I can give everybody. Just using not everything being the same color, but not everything being too ridiculously weird colored, you know. So I also wanted to add a little rug to this bathroom, and the best way I could figure out to do was to use this little 4-circle rug or whatever it is, and leaving only 2 of the circles visible. Now, one problem that I do have with this room is for some odd reason you can clearly get into the bed on one side. You can scoot over to the other side and use the bed, but on the wall that is closest to the outside windows, which would be on the right side of the screen right now, for some odd reason you cannot walk around there, and I don't really know why. It's kind of a strange little thing that I figured out. But again, I ended up using accent colors in this room just because it gave it more of a better, more lifelike feel. Now, I did end up using kind of this darker, almost like reclaimed colored wood in this room because I thought it just kind of added a little bit more, like, I don't know, just this more complexity to the room. Now, I did test everything. Everything does work. Sims are able to use pretty much everything in the house, I believe, other than that one side of the bed, but you can scoot over to it from the other side and it still works. Now, I did scoot over the door here and replace the window in a more better location for what this area is. And the only reason I did that is because I could not fit a chair on the desk in here if I didn't do that. So if you don't want a study room like a desk or a computer or anything, then you can move the door back. That is just totally up to you. Now, I did want to kind of decorate the little area around the desk a little bit more. So I ended up placing these wall lights just to kind of give that more little pop. Now, I do like that. That is something, like, if I had like a computer room, a dedicated computer room, then that would be kind of a cool little feature. I do like how that would probably look in real life. So I added it in the game because I thought it would be something that I would like. Now, this is in the video. I hope you guys like it. If you like it, please subscribe, and I hope I see you in the next one. Bye!